Hello and welcome to the New Moon Pick a Card readings for the New Moon in Taurus for May of 2023. We have 3 piles for you here. Just simply choose the one that jumps out at you. Find the timestamp in the description below. It will take you directly to your reading. Or if you feel drawn to a particular crystal, you might want to go that route as well. The first one here is a Gomati shell. In the center, we have garnet and arfedsonite, or garnet and arfedsonite. And rhodonite. Unfortunately, my camera does not do this justice, but it's a pink and black stone, or a black stone that's kind of like speckled pink. So put your feet down on the ground. Feel your roots connected to the earth. Take a deep breath and choose pile number 1, 2, or 3. There will also be a collective message at the end of this video, or you can get there by using the 4th timestamp. Hello, Group 1. If you chose this Gomati shell, then this is your reading for the new moon in Taurus for May of 2023. A lot of decks wanted to be used today, so we're just going to jump right into the tarot cards here. The first one is the Queen of Pentacles. The Nine of Wands. And the Five of Pentacles. So I kind of started getting messages straight away for this group. First and foremost, I was feeling like you've been doing a lot of work on yourself, whether that's spiritual work, working on a project, some sort of thing that is actually kind of coming to fruition or paying off for you. But I feel like every now and then you might be slipping up, and I think you give yourself a really hard time. And I think what Spirit's message for you at this time is to allow yourself to slip up every now and then, to make mistakes, and to know that it doesn't mean that you failed or did the wrong thing or something like that. It doesn't make you a bad person or a failure, and you can always get back on your path anytime. A new moon is an especially good time to do that. But basically, I think you need to recognize that you are the Queen of Pentacles here. Like, you have done really hard work, and I think that you have gotten to a point where you can recognize the accomplishments that you've made, the progress that you've made, but you've also gotten to a point where you're able to be grateful for the things that you have, even if there might be crazy things happening in your life that might either throw you off track or that might just distract you from the gratitude that you've been really good at. I just feel like this is someone who has been really positive and have like made the progress on the work that they're doing on themselves, and they're like, yeah, like I'm really doing it, like it's happening. Like I think you've this person, those of you that chose this group are like really coming to this like connection to your path. But that with the Five of Pentacles here, I feel like you may slip up every now and then, and you feel like maybe that sets you to like backwards to, and it almost like it erases the progress that you've made. But it doesn't. Now you're able to like get back on track sooner and quicker and more easier. Whereas before in the past, you may have fallen off track, and then months or even years might go by before you find that connection again. Whereas right now, you're at this point where you are like more stable and grounded into yourself and connected to your path, so that now when you fall off track, it might be just like a couple days or a month, or a few weeks at the most. So, but I still feel like you are the type of person that is really kind of hard on yourself and beat yourself up when that happens, and you feel horrible, and that's the thing that's taking you or preventing you from just reconnecting again, because you have like the capability of reconnecting immediately. And with the Nine of Wands in the center here, you can is depicted by this cat that fell in the water, like it's totally shocked and startled. Like, did anybody see that? Did I mess up? He has this like shocked look on his face. But you can reconnect easily. Like you still have more fight left in you. You still have more energy left in you. So this month is going to be really important for those of you in group 1 to make affirmations, which is one of the things that we are focusing on in the Justiphase Moon Planner this month. And the reason I did that is because we're experiencing this new moon in Taurus at the end of Taurus season. So we're actually moving into Gemini a couple days from the new moon. And so the Gemini season takes us from this earthy Taurus season that we've been in and transitions us into an air season, an air sign, which is a lot more about communication and expression. And it's very different energy from earth energy, but we can take everything that we've learned in the Taurus season about the earth element and the embodiment and the physical, tangible things that we want to achieve. And now we're able to kind of like experience them and live them and express them into reality. So we're kind of taking the earth energy and the air energy and combining that in the Justiphase Moon Planner. So your other messages that we have here are Milky Way perspective and wind activation. So when the wind card came up, I really was feeling this connection to this transition to Gemini season. And I almost kind of feel like maybe you might, some of you that have chosen this group may be Geminis or just have a lot of Gemini energy within your chart, or at least a connection to the air element, because we have wind and activation. And this is the message that really spoke to me about. I think the affirmations are going to be really important for you this month. And it also adds to the message earlier that I was saying about, even if you just fall off track for a little bit, if you're feeling down on your luck or you feel like you lost track, I think that you're just really going to be able to connect to this energy again. Like, change your perspective. Like, it doesn't mean that like you failed at it. It just means that now you have to regroup and reconnect again. This is also confirmed with Dolphin Spirit. This and that are true. So the message of the Dolphin Spirit is that like two things can coexist at the same time. And this is also what Gemini energy teaches us. Gemini teaches us that we can be masculine, we can be feminine. We like remember Gemini is the twin sign. So we can be we can be someone who is deeply connected to our spirituality, to our guides, to our soul and our higher self, but at the same time, be a human having a human experience and making mistakes every now and then. I was just really getting the sense that this group is really hard on themselves sometimes, and your message from Spirit is to not to just pick yourself back up and get back on the track, to not beat yourself up. Look at how far you've come. You are the Queen of Pentacles. Like, you can sit on your throne and enjoy the things that you have surrounding you and still make mistakes every now and then at the same time. Like, you can be both, and this and that are true. We have some archetype cards here for you. The Kiss, the Village, and Gnosis. So the messages from these cards, I feel like for you, is that I feel like the Kiss relates to this Queen of Pentacles and the Taurus energy and the Earth energy. The Kiss card represents like really embodying and experiencing the things that you experience, whether this is great joy and bliss, or like that feeling of like right before you kiss somebody. It's not necessarily the kiss itself. It's like that energy and that anticipation that leads up to it. So this is really about embodying and experiencing, whether it's complete joy, but also experiencing your losses and your sorrows and your hardships, especially with this Five of Pentacles here. This is allowing yourself to fall off track, or to be sad for a couple days, or to feel disappointment or feel regret, but then picking yourself back up and doing it again. Like, allowing you to experience all of the emotions, all of the good and the bad, because they're both equally as valuable. When we allow ourselves to experience the difficult things, they don't grow and fester and explode all over the place. And this is also the lesson of Dolphin Spirit, of allowing both of these dualities, and Gemini season, allowing both of these dualities to exist at the same time. It doesn't have to be one or the other. And the Village coming up for you, I feel like might, in a way, could be looked, and remember we have perspective here too, so we can look at it a couple of different ways, of either the people that you're surrounding you with might be what is bringing you down, and having this Five of Pentacles experience of like feeling left out, or feeling like you aren't worthy or living up to whatever standards you're trying to live up to. And I think it's important for you to not compare yourself to others, to understand that like your journey is your own unique experience. And you need to experience your journey, not somebody else's, and not comparing it to anybody else's. But I also feel like this can can also be a message of surrounding yourself with the people that do lift you up, that see you as this Queen of Pentacles, that see you at your best and don't hold your worst against you. Unconditional love, and especially because that is how Spirit sees you, is of being totally unflawed. Like, Spirit sees us as a soul and at a soul level. And I think it is possible to have communities that do see us for the soul that we are, for the journey that we're on, because we all came here to experience different things, and there's no reason whatsoever to compare your journey to anybody else's. And I just wanted to read from the Gnosis card here. True knowledge is not found in facts and figures in scholarly books on library shelves. Rather, Gnosis points to the deep and timeless archetypal wisdom that rises from the felt experience of having touched the unknown with every one of our senses. Those who are drawn to Gnosis find themselves in esoteric studies, likely involving mysticism, alchemy, healing, or perhaps science. Knowing is their calling, not knowing is their job description. No matter how far the alchemists take their studies, they come to the ultimate conclusion that facts slip towards mystery, and soon the mystery results in facts. This card signifies a knowing that is life-changing. Once you experiencing it, you are forever changed and become a guardian of Gnosis. The eternal mystery is calling you. Study your passion in the deepest way available to you. And I think this really draws back to a lot of the messages here, starting with the Queen of Cups or Queen of Pentacles and the earth energy. And like the Queen of Pentacles like sits with her body, with the physical, tangible things in her world. She sits with that experience and expresses gratitude for it and sits with things. She's not running away from her experience. She's not running away from her problems. She's not running away to the emotions that she doesn't want to deal with. She sits with them. She holds them. And both the Kiss and the Gnosis card are speaking to experience and just allowing for whatever happens to happen, whatever arises to arise, and to understand again with the dolphin spirit that both of these things are true. And then we have a unicorn card, Cosmic Pearl. Expand your psychic gifts, open the gate to the angelic realms. And I think that because you are now the Queen of Pentacles and in your body and in your experience and feeling rooted and grounded, that now you're able to explore your spiritual gifts, whereas maybe you may have felt like disconnected from that kind of energy. But now I think this new moon cycle has found you rooted and grounded and anchored, and now you can start to explore the spiritual realms a little bit more. But also because you've been grounded and rooted and are able to embody and experience these things, that now you're just aware and able to notice what's going on around you. I think you're just more open to things now, and you're just noticing and are more aware of things. So I chose the Gomati shell for this group because this shell represents so beautifully the Fibonacci sequence that you see in lots of things in nature, and it represents the infinite spiral, the infinite journey. And I think that this is important for those of you that chose this group because of the knowledge and wisdom that's coming through in this reading, representing like you're always on the path, even if you don't feel like you're on it. Like something is always pointing you to the next thing. And from what we said at the beginning of this reading about the timing, like when before, maybe when you felt disconnected or that you've fallen off your path, it took longer to reconnect and to get onto that path again. Whereas now it's just not taking as long. And that's the beauty of the spiral, is that even though you're passing the same experience again, or the same obstacle again, or the same whatever again, you're now further away from it than you were when you were right here. The first time you passed this experience or obstacle, you were still so close to it that you weren't You weren't as separate from it. And then every time you go around the spiral, see, now you're further away from that first point in the beginning. And then every time you go around again, you're going to be further and further away from it, so that it's not as triggering, and um, it's not going to cause this huge regression, and you're not going to have to go back to square one. You just continue on this journey, continue going around and around and around, and forever and ever and ever. The Gomati shell is also representative of prosperity, and that we started with the Queen of Pentacles here. So um, I think this next moon cycle can be about expressing that gratitude and allowing for more good things to come your way, allowing for all of the experiences and being open to the opportunities that are coming your way. And for group one, I recommend setting intentions around connecting to your psychic gifts and spirituality or intuition, making affirmations to help pull you back on track and to give yourself the grace and forgiveness to be both a spiritual being but also a human, learning lessons and doing the best that you can, and not being so hard on yourself, being open to the experiences and allowing for both things to be true. Changing your perspective when you fall off your path and understanding that, oh, this is just an obstacle, and I'm going to overcome it, and I will be able to get back on track if I allow myself to enjoy the experience or just experience the experience. So make sure you get those affirmations going for you for this upcoming moon cycle. Maybe taking some time to journal about the thoughts that come up for you when you do find yourself in this Five of Pentacles, down on your luck, feeling left out in the cold kind of energy. What are the thoughts that come up for you surrounding that energy? And then how can you rework them and flip them around so that they are a more positive statement, and carrying that on a slip of paper in your pocket or on your phone or writing it on your bathroom mirror, so that whenever you find yourself feeling a little down or low or disconnected, this affirmation is always going to bring you back on track. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that if you like this content, please like and subscribe so that you are notified when I upload new videos. We do pick a card readings for every new moon, and I do have some more timeless readings that will be coming to you soon. If you are interested in a more private and individual reading, those are available on my website, priestessofwonderland.com. And I also do live readings on Tuesday on Twitch, and we'll soon be doing live readings on YouTube, which I know I keep saying that, but it is going to be happening very soon. So thank you again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful, happy new moon, and wish you all the best as we say goodbye to Taurus season and are moving into a more playful and joyous Gemini season. Hello, group 2. If you chose this beautiful garnet and arfedsonite heart, then this reading is for you for the new moon in Taurus for May 2023. So we've got a lot of decks that wanted to be used today, so let's just jump into it. We have the Six of Cups, the World, and the Ten of Pentacles. So the main message that I'm getting from this group is like, congratulate yourself for the work that you have done, because with the World being at the center here, you have completed something very significant in your life, a very the end of a cycle, and because we have the 10 of Pentacles here, this might be the end of a uh, prosperity journey, an abundance journey, some sort of like lesson that might be based around financial things. And I want you to take time to celebrate this accomplishment, because this feels like a very significant thing, and I don't think that you're giving yourself credit for it. This also seems to be kind of a running theme with the readings so far. So I think a lot of us have completed this cycle, and specifically for those of you that chose this group, is that I think you might be aware of this cycle completion, and now you're kind of like, now what? And you might be finding yourself falling back into old patterns simply because you're bored. You're like, okay, I did this thing, I got here, and it's like, what's happened? Like, what do I do now? What is going to happen next? Or maybe you kind of got to the end of this cycle, and maybe it's not what you wanted. Or maybe like when we complete something, we maybe get a little bit scared and we fall back into those old patterns because they are comfortable and because we understand them and we know them very well. Your earth messages here are ceremony, invocation, and volcano validity. Um, this was like a very like powerful kind of energy surrounding this reading, and it made me think that maybe some of the people that have chosen this card are fire signs or just have a lot of fire energy within them in general. And I think that this also points to that boredom of like you were like so excited to like do this thing and achieve this goal, and now you're like, what? Like, I'm bored. And that's the thing about fire, is that like it can roar and rage, but then it can easily just fizzle out. And uh actually the candle has already fizzled out already. So I think maybe like you had this like burst of energy and you're like, yeah, I can't wait to get here, I can't wait to do this thing. And now you're kind of like, well, what? What is going on here? The archetype messages that we have for you are offering, which I think is very significant for having the ceremony here too, the womb, and the shaman. So I think that there's a couple of different messages going on for a couple of different people. Obviously, this is a a public general reading, so there's a lot of different energies coming in here, and I think that for some of you, this is about like not knowing how to use your power, specifically your fire power, your creative power, with the womb at the center here. And for some of you, I think this. Okay, I have to be honest with you guys here. I was getting so distracted during this reading, and I feel like that is kind of the general energy that we have going on here. Like with all this fire energy, that like there's something that is like either burning you out, or like your fire is just fizzling and you're not inspired anymore. And this is why we're falling back into old patterns, because we're just like, and I cannot keep this candle lit. So there's something about like your fire going out. Um, but what I was saying before is I think there's a couple of different messages here. And for some of you, it is with this volcano here, for some of you, it is something very volatile in your life that brings you back on track. For example, I used to be a very heavy partier and drinker, and that like drinking in general, alcohol in general, is a very fire energy. And it was usually due to boredom. And this is like an improper use of fire energy. This is using fire energy to be destructive instead of being creative, which we want to see with the womb here. We want to see something gestating creatively within you. But it took me a while to realize that, like, after I would have these binges of like fire, 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 party, 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 the next day, like it would like snap me into alignment. It would be like, okay, now we had our fun, now we have to get focused, now we have to like, and it always was the thing that pushed me to ceremony, to spirituality. It was like, and just helped me birth things creatively, but I needed this insane chaotic energy to like push me to those things, to push me to the in the direction that I was supposed to go in. And obviously, the older I got, that's not the most sustainable way to have your fire be this like insane chaotic burst of energy where you're just binging very unhealthily, even though I knew that it would eventually lead to this point of like connecting to spirit or connecting to my creativity. And I also think that for some of you, it might just be that life is throwing very chaotic things in your way that is distracting you from really connecting and to your spirituality or to your path or to your higher self. Um, but I think that there are, it's almost, this is like almost like, what is it called? I don't know why I keep going back to alcohol here, but it's, what a functional alcoholic or functional chaos, organized chaos of like it's working for you right now. But I think that you are meant to, especially with the shaman card here, you're meant to really connect to something significant, and this is something that's going to sustain you. And it's not going to be this thing that just explodes and erupts and eventually burns you out or fizzles out. This is, we want to be on this path of like not falling back into old patterns. We want to be able to sustain this cycle that you have completed, this like pinnacle that you have come to, that is also going to be connecting you to spirit. So there were some things I wanted to read about this, these two cards together that really jumped out at me. So this is a particularly volatile time for you. Unexpected changes, sometimes quite sudden and dramatic, are occurring in ways that you have absolutely no control over. And the ceremony says whether through indifference, depression, life crisis, or other manifestation of mental, emotional, or physical blockages, you have drifted away from the intimacy with spirit for which you yearn. It is important to do what you can to regain an experience of spiritual power that is contained within you and all around you. Do so by conducting a ceremony, one that involves not only spirit, but also material objects you consider sacred. Set up an altar in a convenient area that is apart from your usual living space. So I think that this is going to be really significant for those of you that chose this group to set intentions around creating this regular spiritual practice, this regular ceremony. Like it doesn't have to be this big ceremony. It can be just having that space, that altar space there, so that you're able to go there and reconnect and recharge, so that you're not like blowing all of your fire all in one, all on one thing. You're able to like sit, recharge, come back to it, and allow this thing to gestate and allow for your connection to. So, the shaman is the master who bridges the everyday and the sacred, revealing potent power needed desperately in our time. Yet, where there is power, there is shadow. So the shaman must be vigilant in studying their darkness. This card reminds us that the force of healing is ultimately not our own. We must shape it and share it with the world. So I really feel like I think you've been using your fire power, your creative power, your intuitive power for something that like may have served you in the past, but it's not anymore. This is about you getting to this completion of this journey and moving forward in a more connected and spiritual way. And you are really powerful, but there are a lot of things that are distracting you or burning you out, and you're not able to actively recharge. So it's really important for you to like sit and maybe sitting and setting intentions for this new moon on using your creative power to gestate whatever this thing, to allow this thing to grow within the womb, or just simply dedicating like I want to channel my fire power into something that is going to keep me connected with spirit, to sustain me, to sustain that spiritual connection, to feed and fuel this fire and this creative energy in a way that's going to benefit society, benefit the world, and everybody involved, so that it's not just like exploding in one place. Listen to your heart, awaken psychic abilities, tune into the infinite. And this was really significant to me, the message here for this card, in a sense that I feel like I just feel this very scattered energy, and you're not really sure where or how to connect or what your psychic gifts are. And this card specifically speaks to all of the clair gifts, and all of them being different. The things that really jumped out at me were so if you are clairsentient, your sacral chakra may pick up the feelings and emotions of others, then absorb them as your own. If this is the case, ask your unicorn to raise your frequency of your sacral chakra so that you are able to emphasize spiritually and soothe the pain of others. I mean, there's so much sacral energy here with the wound and the volcano and all this fire energy that we've been talking about. So if you are clairsentient, the sacral chakra is going to be the thing that you need to refuel and recharge. If you feel that you are more connected in a heart chakra way, in a more empathic way, and like really connecting with other people, focusing on your heart chakra is going to be the thing that you connect in ceremony to help refuel and recharge. If you feel like you are more claircognizant, this is going to be a crown chakra. So maybe doing regular practices around your crown chakra. I really feel like for most of you that chose this pile, though, is probably the sacral one. So really doing work around your sacral chakra, and make sure that you're not absorbing other people's energies if you are clairsentient or feel that you are clairsentient. So you can ask your unicorn guide, your spirit guide, your angels, whatever spirit you connect to, ask them to attune your sacral chakra to others with detached compassion. If you feel like you need to focus on your solar plexus to explore wise solutions, your heart to look for oneness, your throat to develop clairaudience, or your third eye to develop clairvoyance. And again, the crown chakra for the claircognizance. Last but not least, we have wasp spirit here, and sometimes life stings. And I think it's important to note that sometimes we are the ones that sting ourselves. So, whether this volatile energy here is self inflicted, self sabotaged, or whether it's just crazy things that life is throwing at you, the message of the wasp spirit is just a reminder that not all that spirit creates in nature is easy to love. But when we look through the wasp of eyes, when we look through the eyes of wasp spirit, we recognize that though sometimes life stings, there is a purpose for pain, just as there is a purpose for the wasp in the natural world. And I really think that's significant if in fact you are the one that is like creating this chaos in your life. I am, for one, am one that used to do that, and I still fall into that pattern every now and then. So if that is the case, understanding that like you can channel this power into usable energy and focus it and hone it and not have it be chaotic and all over the place. For those of you that chose this pile, I recommend setting intentions around really connecting to your spirituality, creating a ceremony, or creating an altar or a sacred space that you can constantly return to and recharge, whether that is a daily practice or just setting up an altar that is there for whenever you need it, or if this is a weekly practice or a monthly practice, just some way so that you are regularly reconnecting and channeling. I also feel like it's I also feel like it's really significant for this group to remember to like disconnect from other people's energy, because I really find that clairsentience, because you are feeling, so clairsentience is when you're feeling other people's emotions, like experiencing them as your own. It's different from being empathic. Clairsentience is like really physically feeling in your body, and it's really difficult to distinguish from your own. And I find that that is when I find this flight mode kicking in for me, because it's like I can't get away from these emotions. So you're using things to escape, um, like drugs or alcohol, or like just like purposefully distracting yourself on things. And it's because you're physically trying to escape your body. So this lesson is about like re really reconnecting to your body and to the earth. I was really like the trees were really jumping out for me. There's like trees in all of these, and like finding some way to root, anchor, and reconnect is going to be really beneficial for you, because this group has a lot of power, like so much power. And I think you're kind of bored because you don't really know what to do with it. Like you're like sitting with this completion and this like abundance with this 10 of Pentacles too. And it's just kind of like, well, going back to this old thing is a lot easier. So you need some sort of outlet, whether that's like, it could even just be studying some sort of shamanic healing, some sort of meditation, like exploring and learning so that you're inspired to keep going on this journey and you're not just falling backwards. So for group 2, create a sacred space, whether that's a daily practice, an actual physical space, and having this regular connection. It doesn't have to be this big ceremony, but it can be. And so that you're just really reconnecting and recharging, and also sending back other people's energy to them. Because there is something like significantly gestating for you. And I also see this as a message of like, if you're feeling like, okay, I got to this point, but now I don't know what to do. I think that there is something like gestating subconsciously or in the background or underlying. And I think maybe this time is more about like you like getting your footing and feeling this like this is what it feels like to be here, and then maybe something that's germinating below the ground might kind of rise to the surface, but it's going to be this reconnection. Like this is super significant of channeling and focusing your energy and reconnecting through some sort of daily spiritual practice, daily, weekly, monthly, whatever that is for you. And I chose the garnet and arfedsonite stone for you because garnet is very grounding. It's very gentle and loving and heart centered, not just because it's heart shaped, but I also find that the redness, that rich red of garnet, has kind of this energy of like a slow burn, like not a like explosion burn, like a let's keep this fire going kind of burn. Even though it is a root chakra stone and grounding stone, I just really find that it also has that fire element in there too. So I chose this one for this group specifically for that. And then our Pheasantite helps with focus and productivity. So I thought that this would help you hone your power, focus your power, and channel that energy, funnel that energy. So thank you so much for those of you that are subscribers and new subscribers. Welcome to Wonderland. I hope that you have a wonderful, happy new moon. If you're interested in private readings, those are available on my website, priestessofwonderland.com. You can also find me on Twitch doing tarot readings. And I will soon be doing tarot readings here on YouTube. That is happening sooner rather than later. I know I keep promising it, but it is finally finally happening soon. So thank you so much, and have a happy new moon. Alrighty, group 3. If you chose this beautiful rhodonite that the camera just does not do justice, then this is your reading for the new moon in Taurus for May of 2023. The first card that we have here is the Tower. The second card is the Page of Pentacles. And the Nine of Swords. So I'm not going to lie, this was probably the heaviest, well, definitely the heaviest reading this new moon, or this pick a card session. And to be quite honest, this is probably the heaviest reading we've had in quite some time. So take a deep breath and let's jump into it. I think maybe for some of you, this might not be a huge issue that you've been going through, but for some of you, this is like has been a really difficult time. And I almost kind of get the sense that like this is after the fact. I feel like maybe you've gone through a very difficult time. Maybe it's just that the eclipse season was really turbulent for you. Mercury retrograde threw you for a loop. But I think for some of you, this is something like very significant, life-changing, and very difficult. I'm also getting kind of the sense of grief here too. So if there is anybody watching this, please know that my heart goes out to you, no matter what it is that you're going through. But I was just kind of picking up on the energy of grief for this reading. Not necessarily for everybody, but the thing I want to focus on, especially for setting new moon intentions, is on the Page of Pentacles, because the page is the student of something very significant and something that is going to eventually give you a very sturdy and stable foundation. And because we have the tower here, this is a foundation that needs to be totally and completely rebuilt. So you are the Page of Pentacles represented here in the center that has had a significant life change and is maybe feeling a little bit like this cat here that is a little stressed and anxious at this time. So again, I feel like this is very serious and significant. I use humor as a way to deal with difficult things. I mean that in no disrespect for any of you that may be going through a difficult time right now. I just find that laughter is the best medicine. So let's jump into some of the other cards here. We have the fault line, the kiss, and apocalypsis. So I myself have gone through this apocalypsis card, and there was a period of my life where I was getting it quite frequently. So I can relate to this energy, but it really is kind of quite beautiful energy here. But I really do need to draw attention to the fault line of this being like, I feel like some of you might be feeling like you have this ginormous crack with, maybe that's within your heart if this is a relationship thing, a breakup or a split up, but there is just this like empty chasm or hole that has been created from whatever this tower moment was in your life. And as difficult as that is to experience and to say, I want you to give yourself permission to feel whatever it is that you're feeling, even if it is maybe the darkest, saddest, most difficult feeling that you've ever experienced, because this card, the kiss, represents the things that kind of happen in between moments. Specifically, when we're talking about a kiss, this is like those moments that lead up to the kiss, that is like this palpable, energetic, like electric feeling that we experience right before we kiss somebody. And this can also be said for the difficult times that we have experienced in our life. It's just like there is this pulse of emptiness, which doesn't make sense because like you have to have something to have a pulse, but there is this just like energy that comes from the void of emptiness, heartbreak, grief, loss, whatever it is. It's like this palpable sensation that you feel and reverberates like an earthquake. It reverberates before and after the event. So I wanted to read a little bit from this card because I feel like it kind of sums up very beautifully like the good and the bad that comes along with difficult times. So apocalypsis indicates a particularly painful time, one that unfolds when two disparate dynamics occur simultaneously, pulling the psyche in seemingly opposing directions. The first is a lifting of the veil. This means truths that have been kept in the dark are revealed, seen, and unearthed. No matter how relieving it is to witness them come to light, an element of despair and grief follows. And I feel like this is really significant, especially if we are talking about grief, because there is this relief after you've lost somebody, and then there's the guilt of feeling that relief at the same time. And the second dynamic is the regeneration that comes from the wreckage of the revealed truth. And this can also speak to the rebuilding that comes after the tower. The old narrative breaks, like the fault line, and a new story forms. Apocalypsis energy is similar to forest fires, devastation for the sake of regeneration. The veil lifts and we see who and what has been hiding. From the nakedness of the truth, a child is born. Have faith in this process. Hold on to your center. That is the only way. And this also feels pointing to this kiss here of this actually holding hands, like holding on to your center, because there is something to be learned from this situation. And I think that's really significant for you to kind of like use as your anchor. Oh, even there's kind of, well, that's a wrecking ball, but kind of made me think of an anchor here. Like whatever it is that you're learning, or there's something that you can be learning, that's going to be your anchor that grounds you during this time. We also have Gaia nurturing. So remember to take care of yourself, allow yourself to experience these difficult emotions, put yourself first, put your self-care, your mental care before anything else. And also, I feel like this is a reminder that you are always loved, nurtured, and cared for from the Divine Mother. That could be a lot of things for a lot of different people, but the earth literally does support us, and you can see that as a Divine Mother always grasping, holding, and nurturing you no matter what it is that you're going through. And even if you don't have a mother or get along with your mother, we did recently pass Mother's Day, so I know that that is a difficult time for a lot of people, myself included. And I constantly have to remind myself that the Divine Mother always loves me unconditionally, no matter what. Ocean, allow for the ebb and flow of your emotions, whether you feel like you're swinging back and forth like this wrecking ball of uh, you feel like you're pulling yourself out and you're finally feeling uplifted, and then you swing back and it just slams you back down, and it's this uh, drastic change of emotions. But when we connect to ocean energy, we are allowing for this like gentleness of the wave, the peak of the wave, and then it to sink back down again, instead of being up and down and up and down. Allow for this like natural flow and rhythm to go along with it. We have the ascension flames merge with light, ignite keys and codes. So that is the thing about difficult times, is that it usually is an extremely great lesson. And I think that's why, again, the Page of Pentacles is here too. So this card speaks to, like, you can see the colors floating around the unicorn, and this gives you an opportunity to focus on the different aspects of these colors, whether it's the chakra or the color energy. Just for example, the flames that light you up can be the emerald flame or the green flame of healing, the golden flame of Christ light, the pale green of nature, royal blue flame of higher communication, aquamarine for healing, yellow for possibilities, and white for ascension. And I think that this card is coming for you because it will give you that focus, that thing that you're learning. So if like you're feeling like you need just love in general, like focus on the color pink or focus on your heart chakra and learning, studying the expansion of this energy, which is again going to help you to focus on the lesson and the healing during this difficult time versus just falling back into the emptiness or the crack or in the hole. And I do also feel like some of this, oh, never mind. So finding the thing that you want to connect to or you feel like you are being drawn to and allowing that light to fill you up and give you something to focus on. And we also have grasshopper spirit here for you. Take a leap of faith. So this card actually came up in reverse. So I'm going to read that meaning for you. Is it hard for you to trust in good fortune because you have been hurt in the past when you took a risk? Staying earthbound does not offer the safety you seek, for that can be found only through trusting that Spirit is always with you and wants the best for you. Your intuition is guidance from Spirit, telling you to let go of your fears and leap into the abundance and good fortune awaiting for you. Grasshopper Spirit reminds you that the only way now is to jump forward. Can you be willing to trust the unknown, the great mystery that you can't fully understand? Even if you take the teeniest leap in consciousness to be willing, it's a beautiful beginning. Sure, every leap forward brings a new challenge, but you can handle it with Spirit as your partner, trusting that this new experience will only deepen your life with magic and meaning. Take the leap. So the message that I was getting for this card, for this group of people, is to also maybe consider taking the leap into the void, into the fault line, into that crack, into that hole that may be left in this space of something that is no longer in that the whatever was like at the bottom of the tower, at the base of this thing that happened, allowing yourself to feel those negative emotions, that sadness, that grief, that loss, that disappointment, whatever that is for you, allowing for that so that it's not buried under this new foundation that you're going to be building, this new tower that you're building, this new ascension that you like. Look at all this energy like going up and not burying that old negative energy beneath it, because then that tower is just going to crumble as well. So I was really getting the message with this grasshopper spirit to like allow yourself to go into that deep, deep darkness. And I keep coming back to this wrecking ball too. It's just like this big black void that you may have been afraid to get into because you've had to like deal with everything else in your life. But I think you need to give yourself that space. Maybe it's around the new moon, giving yourself that space to just really enter that void and experience and feel that thing again, like we were talking about with this kiss and the embodiment of like that wave of energy that is produced before and after a big and significant event. And then start to pull yourself up and like look how like tall this cat is standing. He's reaching for that coin and reaching for that knowledge and reaching for that tree and reaching for that next thing that's going to fill your void and fill your chasm, fill your fault line with positive energy, positive things, so that your foundation is built from a solid standpoint. So group 3, for you, you might want to be setting your new moon intentions around simply getting through this time, taking care of yourself, loving yourself, nurturing yourself, allowing your emotions to be experienced, but to not overwhelm you and succumb you. And also finding something that does light you up, something that you can bring your attention to, whether that's just like starting a journal on the root chakra or the heart chakra or the solar plexus chakra, like finding some sort of, I don't know why I feel like it's a metaphysical studies. I just feel like difficult times often bring us back to the spiritual because it's like sometimes we need that push to like reconnect to spirit, and sometimes it's just difficult times that bring us there. So starting a notebook and or journal or something that like you can study and take notes and like really be the student and experiencing this time, or even just documenting and getting all of your thoughts out on paper about this situation of just like exactly how you're feeling, getting all of your feelings out on the page so that you're not like carrying them around with you. And again, you're not burying them underneath this new foundation that you're going to be building. So we also have, I chose the Rhodonite for you. I wish you could see how beautiful and pink this pink is in amidst all of this dark black energy. Um, because Rhodonite is protecting your heart, but also allowing it to experience love and compassion. So, I chose this stone for you guys to give yourself some love and compassion, allow yourself to feel your emotions and feel safe and protected enough to feel the difficult emotions. So the black is protecting and the pink is loving and nurturing for your squishy little heart. So always reach out if you need help processing things, or if you just need to vent and talk about whatever you have been going through at this time. And know that you are never alone. You always have your spirit with you, your spirit guides with you, your angels with you. But this community in Wonderland is always there for you if you need to reach out to anybody as well. So know that you're not alone, and to take care of yourself. I hope you have a happy new moon and that this is maybe a fresh start for you, a really wonderful fresh start. And just a reminder to stay tuned for a little collective reading. If you're interested in a private reading, those are available on my website, priestessofwonderland.com. And I also do tarot readings live on Twitch on Tuesdays, and I will soon be doing tarot readings here on YouTube as well. So thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Again, I give you the biggest hug and hope that you are feeling better soon. Alrighty, so if you've made it through your reading, I want everybody to take a deep breath and just be in this place of pause and emptiness, which personally for me, this is not a very easy thing to do. And some of you might know I haven't been feeling very well lately. I had to film this in lots of different parts because I just kept going up and down energy wise. And I really think it just comes down to when we're approaching the dark moon to allow for this emptiness and pause a little bit before trying to call everything in. And while, yes, we are calling new things in on a new moon, there is still this grace that happens with the emptiness. This way, you're calling in the things that are serving your highest good rather than just trying to refill the emptiness or fill the void. And I think one of the things that all of us, no matter what pile you chose, can use this time around the new moon and in the few days after the new moon to rest. I know I say that all the time about a new moon, but like rest, but also just like allow that rest to be well deserved, because all of the readings, it was just like, you've done this work, and you've done such a good job. And Taurus season teaches us to embody it, and to like be that person that you know that you are, to be that person that you have become, and setting that boundary and having that be a firm, stable foundation, so that you're not feeling like you have to fall back to those old habits and to those old patterns, because they're familiar and they're just easier. And the more we do the new thing, the new way of being, the new way of living, the easier that's going to get. And I also wanted to really focus on the Earth Magic Oracle cards that we have from all of the readings today, because I think that everybody kind of experienced some sort of turbulent shift, to say the least, during eclipse season, or maybe just the past few years in general, because I really feel like this entire year of 2023 is really integrating and healing from the past few years and learning a new way of being. And whether that was something that was super abrupt, like a volcano exploding, or whether it was like the winds changing your way of being, or whether it was just about looking at things with a different perspective. I think that we are all coming out of this time and this eclipse season feeling maybe very tender, like we talked about the little sproutlings in Aries season that are so tender and gentle, and the slightest little change of atmosphere can be detrimental to it, like remembering to love and care and nurture. Like, I mean, I physically feel like tender in my body, as if like just one little touch is like, ow, that hurt, or one little shift and change is like, ugh. Like, I just feel like I'm really needing to focus on shielding and protecting around this time. And releasing the things that aren't mine. I know I say that all the time, but it's really like the time just feels sensitive right now. So remember to be loving and caring and nurturing to yourself, allowing for this rest because it's well deserved rest, and allowing for this ebb and flow of like, you're not always going to feel the best, and you're going to go down, but then you're going to come back up again, and allowing for this pattern and this rhythm that will hopefully, when you allow for it, when at first it's like really up and down, eventually it'll just kind of be like this and not feel as turbulent and sensitive. I really think that, I know the ceremony card here was for, I think, group number 2. I can't remember, but I feel like it is important for us to set time and space to reconnect on a regular basis and recharge. Like, allow for this rest, and instead of it just being a distraction of watching a movie or binging a show or focusing on a project or diving into your work and just never taking a break, instead of it being a distraction. And now that we're going into Gemini season, this is going to allow for more play and allow for more fun that is more regenerative than it is draining and depleting. Having this space to reconnect to recharge, is going to, I mean, it even looks like this person in here is recharging. I think this is going to be really significant for everybody, more significantly group 2, because I think that's what the one that it came from. Whichever group had ceremony, I don't remember. I'm low on brain power these days. And I wanted to bring up, this was the only card that was received in multiple groups. So I wanted to talk about that because I think this is also a really significant thing. And this is the energy that like leads up to this like really good thing, which also in a way kind of speaks to the void, or like the space between two things. There's like almost this magnetic attraction to it. And it's like there's so much happening within this space and with this void that is literally like pulling two things together. And instead of ignoring that experience of feeling like drawn to something and feeling like the need to connect to something else, and allowing for that space and that energy to exist, even if we're like really anxious to just go to that next thing, to focus on that next thing, to be distracted by that next thing. There is magic that happens in the emptiness, magic that happens in the void, the quiet, the calm. And I think Gemini season is going to teach us that play and joy can also be an experience that we embody. The tarot cards that I chose to leave out were really kind of, I feel like, the positive aspects of all of the groups. We had the Queen of Pentacles in group 1, the World in group 2, and then the Page of Pentacles in group 3. And I feel like this is the focus. Like, those of you that received the World need to really congratulate yourself. You have completed the end of a cycle. For those of you who had group 1, sit with the things that you are grateful for, that you have in your life, instead of focusing on the lack of the things that you want. And for those of you that got the Page of Pentacles in group 3, this is about learning along the way, realizing you're not there yet. You will get through this, and focus on the lessons and the journey and not necessarily the end game. And also, again, not necessarily like escaping something, like allowing for the experience and the lesson to really come through. So I hope you all have a wonderful new moon and find some time for some well-deserved rest, if not on Friday, but sometime over the weekend, or even today on Thursday. So thank you so much again for your support and for allowing me to connect to your energy and to sharing this space with me. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful, happy new moon, and we'll see you next time. Perspective. I think that like we are all